Hi everybody, this is Game Show Man. I don't do a lot of unboxing videos. I've done a few, but this is one in particular that I wanted to do. Some of you guys who listen to CLW83.com, the BS Big Show, and hear me occasionally on that program, will hear me plug a company called FilsingerGames.com. That's Filsinger Games, and they are known for something like this. This is one of the most recent products, their Best of Filsinger Games starter set. Basically what it is a wrestling card and dice game. It's actually one of a number, all using the same basic different games. The original game was called Champions of the Galaxy, was released in 1986, I believe, either 86 or 87, was sold via a magazine, like Pro Wrestling Illustrated and the like. It was invented by a psychology professor named Tom Filsinger, originally from Cleveland, Ohio, a lifetime wrestling fan. Originally, he invented the game to amuse himself. He patterned it after Strat O Matic baseball. He tried to actually sell it to the World Wrestling Federation at the time, 1985. They were in the midst of their national expansion, and so they were looking for products to merchandise. Unfortunately, they had went with another company, and eventually that company had contracted out to Milton Bradley and put out the board game Wrestling Superstars. And if you've ever seen that, well, but the less said, the better. But he was not deterred. Tom actually got a new idea after watching the cartoon He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, and he got the idea to combine his wrestling game with a brand new universe out of the comic books. He was also, in addition to being a wrestling fan, he was a lifelong comics junkie, in particular Marvel comics, and so he created the game Champions of the Galaxy, which was originally released in 1987 and has been continuously produced up until the present day. In 2002, eventually he got the chance to produce his game using real-life wrestlers with a game called Legends of Wrestling. And a number of very famous wrestlers, very legendary ones as a matter of fact, it is called Legends of Wrestling, appeared in that game. Everybody from Gorgeous George to the original Nature Boy Buddy Rogers to the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, actually appeared in that game. Even the Iron Sheik, the king of Twitter, is in that game and has been produced also the last 14-15 years. Quite the list of characters in that game. Not characters. Characters is in the other game. Excuse me. Don't mean to scratch myself on camera. But quite the list of real wrestlers in that game. Eventually he got the chance to license out his game to a number of independent wrestling federations. Chikara Pro, Ring of Honor, and quite a few others. And he recently put out this game as sort of a sampler set of some of the different ones. You will note some of the different characters on here. Macho Man Randy Savage is probably the biggest name in this set. You also have Diamond Dallas Page, the most unlikely yoga teacher of all time. And some guys I'm sure you recognize if you're WWE fans. We have Bryan Danielson, you'd know him as Daniel Bryan. We have Claudio Castagnoli, Antonio Cesaro, and Kevin Steen, or Kevin Owens if you watch WWE, along with a number of other ones. Some real heavy hitters in this set, and this is probably one of the smartest things that Tom has done for this line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this open. I just got this in the mail today. It was first made available at Wrestling Geek Fest here a couple of weeks ago, and it is now available on FilsingerGames.com if you are interested. If you've never played any of his games and the Champions of the Galaxy stuff doesn't really interest you, and the Legends of Wrestling guy is too old, nobody you know, start with this one. You might be very pleasantly surprised. Let's pull into this. Uh-oh. Come back here, you. We have the instruction book. Just a moment here, because there's something else in here. This is the rule booklet. This is how to play the game. These are the different charts for certain situations. This is an introductory sheet here. This is the roster of different characters. Let me see if there's anything else in here. Obviously, I keep having things fall out. Just a moment here. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. The dice were falling out. How cute. Red and blue. Little tiny ones. Every introductory set. There are a number of different introductory sets. There's one for Champions of the Galaxy, another for Legends of Wrestling, another for each of the larger indie feds. I know there are starter sets for Chikara and Ring of Honor, and I think Evolve Wrestling, I think, has one. Championships, no. They have the starter one, but doesn't come with the dice. Maybe it does. I don't know. But these are the wrestlers that appear in this game. We have Kevin Steen, or Kevin Owens. We have the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah! We have Claudio Castagnoli, otherwise known as Antonio Cesaro. We have Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, as he appears in the game. We have DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, complete with a diamond cutter. Here's Jay Lethal. Here's the phenomenal AJ Styles. By the way, some of these characters actually have multiple cards that you can actually go to the site and pick up that are available separately. And AJ Styles is certainly one of them. DDP appears in a number of sets. Randy Savage is in a couple of sets. Here's Too Cold Scorpio. Here's another guy who's in a couple of sets. Johnny Gargano. He's also in Chikara. This is his Evolve Wrestling card. This is what's on the back of the card, is the different stats and the promotion that they represent. Here is a couple stuck together. Come on. Here is Matt Cross representing Absolute Intense Wrestling out of Cleveland, Ohio. Here's Lance Hoyt with Inspire Pro. Here's a wild haberdasher, Marion Fontaine, from Old Wrestling Extravaganza. It's supposed to look like he's from the 19th century. That's that particular promotion's interest. Here's cheerleader Melissa, the champion of Shimmer Women Athletes. Here is Sammy Callahan of Combat Zone Wrestling, a hardcore promotion out of Philadelphia. Here is the recently retired multi-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, representing Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. By the way, if you've not seen his documentary 7 Levels of Hate about his series with Colt Cabana, you really should go see that. By the way, Colt Cabana is in this game too, not this specific edition, but in quite a few different forms. He appears in the Legends Wrestling card. There's a Chikara Pro card in full color, which you can pick up from his website, Cult Merch. Tell him I said cultmerch.com. Tell him the Old Game Show Man sent you. And a separate card depicting him with the NWA Heavyweight Championship. And finally, another Combat Zone wrestler, Kimber Lee. But these are the different wrestlers. The game plays very simply. A thought. One thing that you should know. This is not a game that you play sort of wrestler versus wrestler. Well, you're simulating matches, but you're not actually playing as a wrestler. You're playing at the level of management. It's like Stratomatic Baseball. You're playing as the coach, where you pick out your team and you make the strategic. You play the strategic level. You pick out the decisions, and the game basically plays out the competition for you. You don't try to test your skills as the individual players. The players have their individual stats, and they just do whatever they do automatically. You make some strategic decisions, but you're trying to test out whether you're a good manager and whether you're good at picking teams. The same basic philosophy applies to the Filsinger Games stuff. You're not playing at the level of the wrestlers, you're playing at the level of management. You're basically Vince McMahon or Paul Heyman or Gabe Sapolsky or whatever booker you can think of, Dave Marquez. Basically, you're the booker. What the angles are. You decide who's going to be in the angles. You decide who the faces and heels are. The individual characters, sometimes they're depicted as whatever their face version was, or whatever their heel version is. You can decide that particular character, they might be the heel version. You might decide that they're a face in your effect. You run your figuration any way you want. The game plays automatically. Well, not really. Well, I shouldn't say automatically. It plays by the roll of the dice, 2 6-sided dice. These ones are different colors to help you out, because you usually roll one at a time. And then sometimes you use the charts which are in there, and the matches played pretty much play themselves. You do get to make a couple of decisions, but it depends on the character stats and the roll of the dice. The decision making of the game comes from creating your federation, deciding who's going to feud with each other, who's going to be in the matches, what kind of matches. There are rules for almost any kind of match you can think of. It's just staggering. There are actually a lot of unofficial cards that you can find too. So if you can't find your favorite guy, somebody's probably done a card for him. I'm sure you can find them on one of the message boards. But it's just amazing fun stuff. If you're just getting into this, go to FilsingerGames.com. It's called the Best of Filsinger Games Starter Set. It's $15 plus shipping. It ships really, really fast. It ships first class mail because it basically comes in an envelope. It just comes like really fast. And if you're at all into wrestling, I very highly recommend you pick it up. I'm Joe Van Ginkle, reminding you that reality bites, so watch more game shows and wrestling too. Bye for now.